Okay, guys, no more fooling around. We're gonna get this thing right this time. We're gonna get the story right. Okay, I keep messing up and confusing you guys with the storyline of Nick League, the Mad Dynasty, and that shouldn't be happening. So with this finale episode titled Chapter Dynasty, this whole section is going to be a big battle. But it is still Chapter 9 technically, but I'm still going to call this episode Chapter Dynasty. So yeah. Chapter 9, Tuesday. Racing through a highway has never been more clear, as I had so much things to deal with, in terms of losing lots of musty members who didn't deserve to die, the things I had chanced, the things I have strived for, has all led up towards this moment. It was all yesterday I kept running, and when I had to stop by a gas station, I'm defeated, but kinda noticed where I was at. Somehow I got into a small little town known as Jets Ground County, where seeing a strange place was off from the start. Even crazier, I saw Braden M. on his porch, reading Moby Dick, or something like that. So when he spotted myself right about 2 to 4 seconds later, he froze to death. Nick, what are you doing here? Braden M asked. Braden, I really need your help, I told him. What for? Nick, you know you're not supposed to be trespassing into my place, and furthermore, Nick, whatever help you're trying to seek from me, I'm just not going to do whatever I feel like, especially when I am about to look over and see yourself loaded with weapons such as AK-47s, Glock 23s, rifles, and so much more, Braden explains calmly but seriously. Braden, the Mustangs are in big trouble right now, and they're on a risk of getting killed by Mr. Wrangler's twisted self. He even plans on destroying this world with his mothership. And if we don't stop him in about less than 3 days, he got a chance over our multiverse as we know it. I explained more perfectly. Wait, the end of the world is in 3 days? Braden asks, and gets scared as he asks me the question. If we don't have the brains, then you do, Braden. I need you more than ever, even if we're ready for one last ride, I explained. So let me get this straight. Our now ex-leader director has tried getting revenge and even kidnapped all the Mustangs between, plus plans to destroy the planet if our mission is not successful, such and such? Braden asks me a question. Yes, that's correct, I responded back to him. And also, just letting you know, I say, the world we're living in is coming to an end. Okay, so what we need to solve in order to take down Ringler's End of the World Destroyer, he continues on as saying, is that we'll have to create a device known as the X-Ray Bazooka G3 status, he states. Braden, I am catching something really odd right now, I said. What is it? Oh my God. Braden gets shaken up as we begin seeing people run away from these game symbol flying cars and one massive plane that just crash landed into Jets County. Boom. We need to get going before Wrangler's army kidnaps the rest of us too. Then he'll destroy our planet once and for all, I said. Then what should we do? Braden laughing asks. Don't worry, I got a thing or two when I am running at the speed of light. I finished running so fast, skipped Tuesday to Wednesday, where messing with time and space got all bad out there. In fact, I popped over back in Mohegan from the time Alex got stuck us inside our rooms. Nick, was this actually supposed to, happen? Braden asks. As, I'm saying Braden McLaughlin. I had panic attacks super quick because going back in time was morphly unrealistic, and another thing started making myself realize that being erased and never existing was going to be a huge mistake once I figured being dead is the last thing that was supposedly on my bucket list, nevertheless, in both worlds. I totally screwed with the timeline that Braden McLaughlin decided to let me live, and let me himself, indeed, reverse that pain by sacrificing himself instead. Braden, what are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me? I shouted. Because the last thing I need is my closest friend to suffer a timeline being broken. Because I'll admit, I accepted the fact that my life has it more easy going than yours, Braden cries, while trying to save his final words for later. Or never. Braden, I need a hug, I said as I had tears dropping down my face. Braden and we hugged for, the second, and then while the song See You Again played from Braden's floating MP3 player out loud. Remember, Nick Bruce, do what is right, not what is easy. Braden raps his say in words as ashes were no more to be existable. I walked around in floating thin air as time slowed down. I knew what Braden's final breath of wisdom and acknowledgement. Do what is right, not what is easy. Running around in circles, went back into the present, where I was at the Mustangs dorm around Tuesday, August 15th of 2023. Hello there, Nicholas Reinbers. I'm finally glad you could join the... I cut Mr. Ringler off. You killed my peers! You raped my sister! And you're gonna die for this! Just when I was about seconds away from tearing this psycho apart, he used his defense as a defense, I guess. His powers, I mean. Nicholas Reinbruce, you're never going to defeat me, because now this whole world must die. And also, you fall into my trap right here into Mohegan's facility, where everybody has been captured inside my Death Star, yet some turn into stone, Mr. Ringler explains, but just when he was about towards turning myself into stone too. Ronnie and Orlando jumped out of a portal while using supersonic kicks to fight Mr. Ringler 2 against 1. I now joined the fight, and even though Mr. Ringler became even more hard to defeat, another glowing yellow portal opened to show up, and guess who decided from tugging along this epic battle between Clayton and Lacey Hill, aka Casey Hill's twin sister. Grad sanity still arrives. You'll know what it's like to lose, seeing as it is inside this petty multiverse you're trying so hard to protect. Mr. Ringler shouts out hard as hell as he chokes Ronnie and Orlando to death, and he even tries going after Clayton, my closest friend since we first met back at Wisman Transitional Home. I went 360 at Mr. Ringler's head until, not knowing his head was made out of steel, he chugs me out of Mohegan Youngstar Academy. The fight didn't stop there. It's turning back into Godspeed could do the trick. Mr. Ringler's Death Star pulled the Earth's gravity up, shredding land after land. But soon I had noted how I'll be able to fight in outer space fast, but yet I couldn't breathe. So then running into Mr. Ringler's Death Star was a huge obstacle to complete. Chapter 10. Watching this world get destroyed along with billions of people turning to stone. Thanks towards Mr. Ringler's gang dynasty. Now it's all up to me from stopping these evil peoples from literally destroying everything in the multiverse's infinite core. Once I had entered into outer space, there was no turning back. My oxygen level got stale, and since I had to get inside a opened mouth, not a bad mouth. I'm just playing. It really wasn't going to be that easy, but somehow a spaceship came right at me. A spaceship came right after me. Just playing. Again. When apparently Christopher G and Joe Nathan were my last two survivors from escaping Mr. Ringler's Death Star. Nick, get in before you'll lose enough oxygen and become frostbite, Christopher G told me on his outer speaker, made my Sony. I almost could have been dead if it wasn't for my good friend John Nathan Bowen from saving myself in that act of close call bullcrap. Nick, oh my freaking lord, you almost died on me, John yells, traumatized by what he saw. Nick, I can't lose more friends nor family. We have no choice but to destroy this entire mothership because now we're going to be the ones through horrible encounters inside solved ones, John said as he commanded Christopher G to let him use the mantle. John, I'll do this, I said. You're still going to have to recover, Nick, John responds back. I am not about to let my own best friend die away in this galactic battle, I commanded towards Joe Nathan himself. That's too risky, Nick, I cut John out. Joe Nathan Bowen, I am always like a brother. Our brother who will be remembered for one last ride, I exposed myself, cried out loud. Then do your part, cause Nick, you have been through way too damn much, and even though you might die away while fighting for all God's sins, let the Lord be upon yourself in Jesus' name, amen, John expresses as me and him made our final handshakes and hugs as they were really meant to say goodbye all at once. Okay, Nick, see those buttons right here? Christopher G asked. I responded. Okay. Now, when you see another spaceship shoot losers at us, the lasers, not losers, but my bad, because, everything's getting messed up in the multiverse right now. Or whatever this multiverse may contain. Target his ship as fast as you can. That way it'll be much easier to get farther on ahead to the yellow and black doorway across sideways thousands of miles away in outer space, Christopher G explains. Alright, I gotcha, I said to him. Once the battle begun super deadly, I remember what Braden McLaughlin said when doing what is right shouldn't be easy, cause going crazy did me like a villain was chilling at the edge of his unforgettable bond. I twirled and shot around 5 dozen spaceships, going full-blown mad. I totally whipped it past the atmosphere and made it on deck, hopefully to get into that gate on time. The race went hardcore on this mug, but something tried coming after me I couldn't see from back view. Until figuring out who it was once entering the gate fully, Jaden Vogler was definitely not playing no games. Oh my gosh, bro. You're such a freaking hassle to get over, huh, bitch ass little boy? Jaden shot at me. What the frick do you want from me, gay wad? I shouted back at him. I want to know why you killed my cousin Nina, for freaking Christ's sakes. Jaden Vogler got mad as he tried to kick himself across the face. Why are you kicking yourself across the face? I don't know, Jaden says. But I didn't kill her, I yelled. Oh yeah? Then why did I see you since Nina's threat that day, Nicholas Ryan Bruce the third? Jaden said. First off, that version of me you witnessed was my evil future self named Rick Drews, and second of all, do not call me the third ever again, I shouted toward Jaden. Me and him got into a huge beatdown, throwing and swinging knuckles until we decided to give up. Enough! John shouted hard as hell. Me and Jaden had eyes on John. You guys may have sworn enemies or been sworn enemies once before in a lifetime, but come on, guys. Can you just ever give up and move on? I mean, we're really not bad as a team because all we have been striving for is demanding a true greatness, and none of y'all have realized that? John said like a true grad phase. Nick, I am so sorry. I didn't mean to. Jaden cuts out as I gave him a beer hug. Jaden, I know it feels like it's how, you know what, I don't even know what I'm saying, but Jaden, listen. I know how it feels to lose our greatest legend, and some things will never change, but what will is by proving we can all be leaders just like John did, I explained. Nick, you were confusing as hell at first when you said that. But I don't want to lose anyone. I just want to go home, Jaden bursts out in tears. Then let's stop our emotions from getting it the best of us, and let's strive for what we have left, I said to Jaden. We blasted all the guns I had gave to everyone else, except for Christopher G since he already had lightsabers and didn't even need help. These soldiers were getting killed as we fight our way into who's behind the red door spiky as heck. Die, motherfrickers! Jaden and Joe Nathan cussed, although it wasn't a cuss word, it was kind of more like, no, it's whatever. I don't even know what I'm saying. As they shot at so many different bullets at so many different soldiers one by one, we finally made our stop and claimed to open the red door into the dark black void when I knew our destiny would soon be gone. Nick, are you okay? John asked. Here's the fact, I wasn't okay, and I knew something made me feel off when we've entered into a dark room with no light whatsoever. Yeah, I'm okay, I responded back. Are you positive? He asked again. Yes, and don't worry. I'm perfectly fine, I responded John back again, but I wasn't, because something gave me the chills. I know where many lights turned on, and a man with a dark black hoodie sat at the throne, waiting for his reveal to be surpassed. Who are you? I asked. The man then said, who am I? I think you got the wrong guy, old peer. Wait, old peer? What is he talking about anyways? Show your face, John yelled at him. Plot twist. The man that revealed himself was Mr. Matt? This can't, wait, hold up. What? I said stuttering. So you're behind all this, John yells out loud. Not only have you witnessed just myself, I assure you, I am Matthew Klein once before. So call me your king or turn into stone just like the rest of your peers. Do you understand me? Matt screams out loud, echoing in terror. What did you do to my sister Molly? I yelled at him. Oh yes, you see, I put Molly in a special place where now I have turned her into a perfect slave, while she's now inside trapped into a mirror, Matt said. The mirror was shown off like shown and tell, and as Molly was pounding on it, stated, Nick, help me! They torture me and they're gonna keep me stuck here forever! Molly screams, crying out loud, having to suffer in hell. My rage went pretty extreme, but then Matt said, Silence! I am your master now, and I'll make sure of it. I am Matt! Matthew C. showed all of the Mustangs that have been shelved into a straight rocket-hearted stone, along with billions and billions of people. You're really sick, Matthew Klein. Why are you doing this? I yelled at him as I asked. You don't know why? Then let me tell you, man. I got a story to tell, man. Matt explains. Okay, go on. Because you want to tell the story so much, why don't you go on, I said. Okay. It all started when I was with those Buccaneers. Once Mr. Johnson told me that I kept on acting up, and it was up for my time to go and get taken over to DYS. I had gotten sent over to this dump, you call it. But being handcuffed wasn't only the beginning, because fighting for my life 24/7 with absolutely no sleep, I went cuckoo. Or cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, is what I mean. And eventually created a timeline portal gun while traveling my older self or transforming into the older self of mine, and disguising as the therapist was the key from going back in time, where plotting this stake made me realize something. I was gonna reveal all of your personal information for Book Zero's backlash, yet building up to this moment, I found out that many variants of me who've killed many versions of these Mustangs before, including the timeline itself. Now, seeing you fall into that trap by messing with the multiverse itself, I have discovered this multiverse exists because watching what you did back there made me think outside the box. I will use all of those journals, as they are exactly like Infinity Stones. So thank you. Now hand me all of the books in total, Matthew Klein demands as he finishes up his story to tell. Nick, fight this man, Christopher G demands. Well, we eventually all tried fighting Matt, but he surely was too powerful to overcome. The journals inside my backpack were kept safe, but we had no other choice but to lose this one all together. You were not prepared for this battle, Nicholas. I can assure you, I'm going to wipe out these universes and put everyone on a planet called Battle World, where nothing will be out of my sight ever, Matthew Klein says. If you do, you're only going to regret forwards like, how's it not getting through your brain, sir? I said to Matt. Sorry, but everything you call life will end. Now, if you excuse me, I have business to take care of, Matt said as he dropped myself onto the floor, and John was officially turned into a stone statue along with Jaden Vogler and Christopher G. No! I cried, but since I lost, there was no other way to save anybody, since planet Earth exploded into pieces of specks. Matthew Klein hovered all over those 4 other journals together. And now Matthew combined them all into a giant magical spell, breaking across all over the galaxy beyond ahead. See you later, Nick, or maybe never, Matt said as I popped into a Utah desert where really everything has sucked. I'm in the endgame now, I said inside my head, as there was nothing left. A massive purple gap showed back up, releasing an uprise full of other multiversal beings. In all of this mess, we are now nothing. What have I done? I said towards myself, feeling weaker every second. The end. Post-credit recap. Whatever you do, don't go into door number 10, Teddy tells Nate, right? Why? Nate asks. It's too dangerous, Teddy answers. But why am I not going to be able to go in when I can just literally just go in, Nate explains to Teddy. Yet the ground shook and a giant purple gap automatically dropped them off into some kind of desert as they begin falling down along with Francis and Chad, where out of nowhere, Captain Underpants comes to the rescue. To be continued. Mid-cred recap. Taking place in his very own mindset, he feels as though he's been abandoned his entire life, unlike his arch nemesis named Nicholas Ryan Bruce. He has so much anger of him all those years ago, covering the dark side of his agenda, not letting himself forget about one over another after another. His strike may come soon, because once he walks into the secret laboratory lurks inside his hidden sight, he uses his ring, clicks into a hidden yellow suit, and begins himself to use the power of reverse, which is where he sees himself towards and tells himself as, see you soon, Nicholas Bruce. To be continued. Reverse Nick will return. End credit recap. Ryder Vogler and Idle, aka Kenneth, were sitting down on the pavement playing cards together. Then they saw a giant purple gap come in, but something lurked into their shadows that nobody can guess, till they got turned into stone as well. But when they instead got sucked into Battle World, they weren't statues no more, because for some really weird reason, they're turned into some sort of supernatural beings, where one is Dr. Slayer, but the other was Electro Boy. Not only did they enter a deserted world, but the same applied for a dark shadow figure titled as Demon Nick for actual short. To be continued. And so it begins, Nick League Journal Wars. They're all going to Journal Wars. Yes, indeed.